Hi, everyone. My name is Sergio Campos, and I'm the founder of ECF. ECF is the best personal financial planning application available on the web today, available on your desktop, on the iOS App Store, and on the Android Store. And I've worked in the financial industry for the last 10 years, serving affluent individuals, families, organizations, primarily here in the California, San Francisco Bay Area, but I've also worked with people outside of California throughout the country. And so I've got to work very closely and get to know a lot of financially successful people. And I've learned a lot through that experience working with them, also in the educational courses I've taken on my own outside of work. I have a certificate in financial planning from the UC Berkeley extension, and I've taken numerous other courses around finance outside of work. Today, we're going to dive more into the information that is presented in the application dashboard, which you can kind of see here on my other side, where you're going to talk about the numbers that we present here on your El Camino Financial, also known as ECF dashboard. And let's just jump right into it. Today is the beginning of our Pathfinder series, which is a series of videos we plan to make around educating you on some of the information that we present within El Camino Financial versus just showing you around the app and navigating the app and how it works. We're going to have a lot of content on that, but this is going to focus on a more educational approach on the information that's presented. Still meant to be pretty short though, like we hope for most of our videos. We plan to keep them very concise and condensed and not to exceed not much longer than 10 minutes. And so let's get started here on the Pathfinder series ECF video, and where we're going to discuss what we present to you in your dashboard. And so first, what is an ECF snapshot and why do you need one? An ECF snapshot is a financial analysis our app, the ECF app, performs on the data you provide. The ECF analysis performs fundamental financial planning calculations and provides you the results of those calculations. ECF then provides additional resources to help you understand the results for more informed decision making. ECF saves your results so you can monitor your progress over time. And here below, you see an example of the dashboard, which you may recognize if you've been using ECF. This is the dashboard on a desktop, but again, we have ECF available in your mobile app store, and the dashboard in the app looks very similar to this. And we're going to go ahead and just move on. And so how often should you create a new snapshot? We recommend you update your snapshot every 3 months or when major changes occur to your finances. So major changes can be a job change, new expenses, new regular recurring expenses. It could also be an unfortunate job loss. Hopefully that's not the case, but it happens. It's very normal thing. Hopefully you don't let that get you too down, but that's a good time to update your ECF data, is when a major change occurs, good or bad, so that you can capture that, create a new snapshot, and make more informed decisions going forward, until if you've lost a job, maybe monitoring a little more closely during that time where your money is going and how you're managing it until you recoup that income. And again, hopefully that's not the case, but really El Camino Financial ECF was created during the pandemic. I created it during the pandemic because I was very concerned about where the economy was going and the world was going in general, and couldn't find a tool that I felt really prepared me for a dire situation as we were in during the pandemic. A lot of tools out there, I feel, more focused on gathering my data and doing who knows what with it more than providing me the tools and the resources I need to make sure I was financially sound. And so that's why I created ECF as a tool to help ensure or move you towards a more secure financial future, a future where you're not too concerned, or hopefully not living paycheck by paycheck, and hopefully have an emergency fund. And so that the truth is, that's how ECF was created, to offer a tool where you can prepare yourself for the worst situations possible, like a pandemic or a job loss, or maybe a major unexpected expense has come your way. Hopefully, you don't encounter too many of those situations, but our hope is that we prepare you a little bit better when those things come up, or at least direct your attention to the possibility of those things happening, and then hopefully providing some education to help you prepare for those situations. And again, that's how this tool was created. I was panicking during the pandemic, and really taking a close look at my finances, and couldn't find a tool out there that really served my need, and that's how ECF came about. And so moving on, the next calculation presented in the dashboard is the emergency fund ratio. This calculation would tell you how many months you have in an emergency savings, and it's calculated as follows. It's liquid assets divided by monthly total expenses, and that's how we get your emergency fund ratio. It's very important to have funds set aside in case of an emergency. 3 to 6 months or more of monthly expenses is ideal. Unexpected expenses can occur at any moment and delay reaching any goals you might have, but having emergency funds will minimize the impact of an unexpected expense, and have less. The unexpected expense may have less of a negative impact on your goals. And again, 3 to 6 months is a general recommendation. Some may feel more comfortable with more, maybe a year's worth, or who knows, maybe 2 years worth if you can pull that off. But 3 to 6 months is usually the minimum that is recommended for an emergency fund. And so now we're moving on to the net worth calculation, which is presented in the dashboard. It's an important calculation in financial planning, and it's calculated as follows. Assets minus liabilities equal net worth. And this, again, is another calculation we present in your dashboard. A positive net worth means you have more assets than debts. This is a good thing and means you could pay off all your debts if you needed to. A negative net worth means your debts exceed your assets. A positive net worth is one of many indicators of financial strength, but negative net worth is not necessarily a financial weakness. And I don't want to go too far into that because we can talk a lot about that, but essentially you need to consider some debt is considered good debt, and some debt is considered bad debt. So an example of good debt may be your college education or a home, and an example of bad debt may be just some luxurious item that you spent a lot of money on, maybe took a loan out for and paying high interest. I don't want to single out anything specific, but just something that maybe was frivolous and not really necessary, especially given that you went into debt, a negative net worth for that item. And so again, we might touch on good debt and bad debt in another video, but we're going to move on here. And then we, in the dashboard, present your goals, which you provide. The purpose of the goals section is to simply remind you why you are working towards improving your finances. The purpose of financial planning is what you are doing when you're using ECF. ECF is a financial planning tool, and so by using ECF, you are practicing financial planning for yourself. And the purpose of financial planning is to align your finances to achieve your goals such as maybe buying a new car, a new house, going on vacation, or these are just very general examples, but the goals can be anything you want to buy, anything you want to a place you want to go see, travel to, or maybe a gift you want to purchase for someone could be a goal, or a donation. Maybe you want to make a hefty donation towards a cause that you care about. That could also be a goal. And then another calculation presented in the ECF dashboard is your savings rate. The savings calculation presents your monthly percentage savings and is calculated as follows. It's the dollar amount of savings divided by your monthly gross income, and that will equal the savings rate. And it's very important to set aside funds for your emergency fund if you don't already have one, which we mentioned before. So the savings, if you don't have an emergency fund, would go hopefully towards accumulating an emergency fund. If you already have sufficient emergency savings, then those savings would be directed towards your goals, ideally, but it's up to you. Maybe that would go towards paying off high interest debt, so the surplus could go to a lot of different things. And in general, the point here is that you should be hopefully saving some of your income, and that's not all going towards monthly expenses. If that is the case, that's fine. It's normal for people maybe who are new to the workforce. You're very young, or maybe you're just in a transition period and you don't have that surplus income to save. Totally fine, and not an indicator of financial weakness, but hopefully temporary. The idea is to hopefully adjust your spending and lifestyle so that eventually you do have some money going into your savings account. Another calculation we present is cash flow. Cash flow tells you if you're spending more than you are making, and vice versa, and is calculated as follows. It's monthly gross income minus monthly expenses, and that is how you get your cash flow. Positive cash flow means you're making more money than you are spending. This is a great place to be. The alternative is a negative cash flow, which means you are spending more than you are earning. This could be fine in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to increase most likely your debt, which is not a good thing if taken too far. And that will take us to our next calculation, which is the debt to income ratio. The debt to income ratio tells you what percentage of your spending goes to your debt, and it is calculated as follows. Monthly debts divided by monthly income equals your debt to income ratio. Your debt to income ratio is important when applying for loans. 43% or lower is a comfortable place to be and what lenders like to see. Staying around 43% or below puts you in a better position to receive a favorable interest rate as well. Anything above 43% may mean you're in a risky position and that a high percentage of your income is going towards your debt. And this could result in being offered higher interest rate loans or at risk for not qualifying for loans at all. Which is, if you plan to take out a mortgage or finance a car, that's not a good place to be. And again, if you're not doing great in any of these areas, that's totally normal. Not everyone is strong in each of these areas that I've covered so far. ECF is mostly designed to help you identify where you're at, and by knowing where you're maybe not doing so well, you can then shift your energy towards changing your situation, because without knowing, there's knowing is half the battle. And so we're here to shed some light on areas of improvement and hopefully shift your focus towards those areas, and eventually hopefully guide you to a more financially sound situation through the education, the tracking, and additional resources we hope to provide in the future. That's our goal, is to guide you towards a more financially secure future, and hopefully a